Taylor Swift currently oversees a commercial empire valued at over $1 billion, fueled by a touring operation that generates more revenue than the GDP of some small nations. Her career operates on a dual-track strategy, maintaining a catalog of deeply personal songwriting while exercising a high level of corporate discipline over her brand and intellectual property. The transition from a childhood on a Pennsylvania farm to becoming the primary stakeholder in her own global industry was not a matter of luck, but of specific, long-term planning. By treating her narrative as a protected asset, she has managed to secure a degree of creative independence that few artists ever achieve. At age 3, she was already learning basic business principles from her father, a stockbroker for Merrill Lynch, while living on Pine Ridge Farm. Her early professional discipline extended to literature. At 14, she authored a 350-page novel titled A Girl Named Girl, centering on themes of family expectations and gender. After traveling to Nashville at 11 and facing immediate rejection from major labels, she identified a gap in the market. She needed to write her own material to distinguish herself from other performers. She eventually left a development deal at RCA Records because she believed the label's slow timeline would prevent her from authentically documenting her teenage experiences on an album. This early urgency to own her story became the defining characteristic of her professional identity. To manage the immense pressure of her public profile, she has used pseudonyms as a way to isolate her creative work from media speculation. In 2016, she co-wrote the hit This Is What You Came For with her then partner, Calvin Harris, but registered her contribution under the alias Nils Seelberg. Using a common Swedish name allowed the song to succeed based on its own merits, rather than being analyzed through the lens of her personal relationship. She repeated this strategy during the pandemic, collaborating with Joe Alwyn under the name William Bowery to co-write several tracks on her albums Folklore and Evermore. These aliases allowed her to bypass her own brand entirely, functioning as an interface that prioritized the music over the celebrity. In these instances, anonymity was a tool used to preserve her artistic intent. Beyond the studio, her team maintains a rigorous legal perimeter around her brand, proactively securing trademarks to prevent unauthorized commercial use. In 2017, she successfully filed for a trademark on the term Swifties, effectively bringing the identity of her fanbase under her corporate umbrella. Her brand's dominance allows her to dismantle unauthorized products. In 2013, a major retailer pulled a t-shirt after a massive fan protest. This level of control ensures search results and market presence remain prioritized for official projects, displacing smaller entities. Her cultural scale necessitates this constant litigation, turning the Swift brand into a self-defending ecosystem. Her approach to philanthropy is equally structured, focusing on direct interventions at the municipal level. During her recent world tour, she made significant, unannounced donations to food banks in cities like Cardiff, Liverpool, and Seattle. These financial injections were designed to offset the strain her massive stadium presence placed on local resources, turning short-term tour spending into long-term community support. These private acts of giving, such as hosting a pizza party and dress rehearsal for 2,000 foster children in 2018, show a preference for direct impact over publicized corporate charity. She uses these donations to manage the external footprint of her global operations. Physical bird cages appear as recurring motifs in her homes, a human-sized observatory in Nashville and a library cage in Tribeca. They serve as a visual acknowledgement of the confinement that comes with high-level fame and her effort to curate her own surroundings. She buffers the stress of global scrutiny with structured domestic habits, including baking for her inner circle and a lifelong focus on classic literature. These private routines are an extension of her business strategy, a means of reclaiming small sectors of her life from public consumption. From the management of her cat's commercial appearances to the protection of her lyrics, every element of her professional life is treated as a controlled asset. This was most evident in her decision to re-record her first 6 albums, a logistical undertaking designed specifically to reclaim the ownership of her master recordings. By separating her creative compositions from the financial control of third-party investors, she successfully renegotiated the power dynamics of the recording industry. She didn't just adapt to the music industry, she identified its structural weaknesses and rebuilt her career to ensure the final authority remains her own.
Welcome to Byte Tunes. To know more amazing things, please subscribe this channel.